What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be talking about my least favorite perk in Modern Warfare 2, and this of course is the Survivor perk. Personally, I feel like this perk should never return in a Call of Duty game, and I'm going to explain why throughout the video in case it wasn't obvious enough. But let's first start this off with the breakdown of Survivor, so you guys know exactly how it works and all the individual characteristics and behaviors. So with this perk, it is an ultimate perk, and once you've got it charged up, when an enemy kills you, instead of dying immediately, you will be put into a down state, and you will have the opportunity to be revived within a 10-second window. If you do manage to get revived, the next time you die, you will actually die properly like you would if you didn't have this perk. So you only get the opportunity to revive once per life. And with this, like I said, you have a total of 10 seconds to revive after being downed. However, as long as you start the revive process before the timer hits 0, it will allow you to finish off that revive. So basically, you just have to start the reviving process before that 10 seconds has elapsed. Now, when it comes to revive times, it'll take you a total of 5 seconds to revive yourself. However, any teammate is able to come revive you as well, and if they revive you, it'll take a total of 3 seconds. So it's actually slightly faster for a teammate to revive you rather than reviving yourself. It's also worth noting, when you're in this down state, you will have a total of 40 HP, so you're not going to have full health while down, and most guns will be taking you out within 2 to maybe 3 bullets. Now, it is worth noting there are a couple exceptions to going into this down state when you have Survivor equipped, and the first one is melee kills. If an enemy melees you, whether that's with a combat knife or just bashing you with their gun, you will not go into a down state, you'll just be killed immediately. And also, if an explosive kills you, this will prevent you from going into a down state as well. In any other situation I tested though, you will end up in a down state. This includes headshots, sniper rifles, throwing knives, even a thermite or a Molotov for instance. You will end up going into a down state rather than just being insta-killed. And then one final thing I wanted to point out here is if you manage to get revived while using Survivor, you will come back with a full 100 health. You don't have to wait to like heal up over time or anything. You will just immediately be awarded 100 health. And that pretty much covers it for the characteristics and behaviors that you need to know about Survivor. Now let's talk about some of the issues that come with this perk. The first issue, at least in my mind, is you do have 1 second of invincibility from the moment that the down animation begins to the moment that you hit the ground. As you can see here, I'm spraying bullets with an extremely high fire rate gun, and all of these bullets for a total of 1 second are dealing no damage to that enemy character model. You can actually get hit markers, but these hit markers aren't doing anything at this point. And therefore, if you continue spraying somebody as they're going down, you might think that that will be enough to take them out as they're in the process of going down, but that's not actually true. You have to wait a little bit till they actually hit the ground, then you can start dealing damage to them again. So that's the first issue. It is just frustrating that you have a character there and you can put bullets into them, but those bullets don't do anything to them, at least for a 1 second window. The next big issue I have, and this is probably the biggest issue, the most frustrating thing about Survivor, is you aren't awarded any of those bonus accolades or challenges when you kill a Survivor player. So let's just say you're going for long shots, for instance, for camo challenges. If you down that player at long range, there's no long shot awarded. And even if you down them at long range and then you also finish them off while still being at long range, again, that still won't count toward your long shot challenge, even though it was clearly a long shot. The same thing applies with headshots. Let's just say the final shot to the head is the one that downs them, and then you kill them in some other way. That won't be awarding a headshot. And even if you down them with a headshot, and then once they're down, you finish them off with a headshot, and it shows a headshot in the kill feed, that headshot doesn't actually count toward any of your camo challenges or any challenges that you're working toward. It might look like a headshot, but it's not awarding you a headshot. And those are just a couple examples. This applies to basically any other type of kill that you might need for a challenge as well, like point blanks, for instance. Simply put, killing Survivor players won't be helping you toward any of those camo challenges that require a specific type of kill. Now, one little workaround for this that may work in certain situations if it's quiet enough, you can wait until that Survivor player revives himself, and then you can get that headshot on them, for instance, and at that point, it'll count as a normal kill as if they didn't have Survivor, so you could do that potentially. But more often than not, in my experience, you're not going to have the time to just stand around waiting for them to revive themselves so you can kill them once again. On top of this, on a somewhat similar note to these kills not counting toward challenges, they also don't contribute to your highest streak stat in the combat record, and also they don't contribute toward an MGB, or that nuke streak that's in the game. Now I know for most people out there, they're never going to get anywhere close to an MGB anyway, so this is a pretty minor issue. But a couple months ago, I actually choked my first nuke on a 29 kill streak because I ran into a survivor player and that kill didn't count toward my streak. And that was obviously very frustrating because I got the kill, but the kill just didn't count. But then there is one last issue I wanted to point out here, and this one is a little bit more subjective. I personally just disagree with how they're currently handling this. If you down a player that's using Survivor and one of your teammates finishes that kill, you get nothing for that. You don't even get an assist out of that. You get literally nothing for downing that player. And it's the person that finishes the player that's downed that gets awarded the kill and the score for that. And to me at least, that is backwards. I think it should be the other way around. I think the person that downs the player should be awarded with the kill, assuming they are killed before they're able to revive themselves. And for the player that finished off that down player, they should maybe get an assist with the appropriate score awarded for an assist. And my reasoning behind that is it's obviously much harder to be killing that player or downing that player that can fight back before you do that than it is to simply clean up a kill on a guy that is defenseless laying on the ground. And with that, that is going to wrap it up for my breakdown of Survivor as well as some of the clear issues that I see with this perk. At the end of the day, I definitely don't think Survivor is like overpowered or anything, especially as an ultimate perk in the game. And I don't think there's even any point in asking for a nerf to Survivor. It wouldn't make sense. It's an ultimate perk. It's probably the worst choice in that perk slot anyway, because it essentially offers zero utility to the player that's using Survivor in the vast majority of situations. More often than not, you won't even have the opportunity to revive yourself. So if anything, it's just extending the amount of time it'll take you to get back in the fight. And that just raises the big question, why does this perk exist? Why did they bring a last stand or final stand style perk back to the game after it was heavily celebrated back in the day when they finally removed those style of perks from the game? It was almost unanimously hated by the community because perks like this, especially in this case as an ultimate perk, their only purpose seems to be to add more frustration to players without really providing the utility to the person that's using it. And with that being the case, at least in my eyes, that leads to a net negative player experience with having this perk in the game. I really don't mind if there's an item in the game that is frustrating to deal with and play against, but it provides some solid utility and there's a good reason for that perk to exist for the player that's using it, as long as there is some balance or trade-off. But in the case of Survivor, it just seems like its primary purpose is to troll enemy players and make them frustrated when they down and kill you. And that is the primary reason I wanted to make this video. I realize for Modern Warfare 2, it's too late, it's unlikely anything's gonna change here, and I'm not even really gonna call for any change. Also, just to be clear, this is really low on my list of issues with Modern Warfare 2, it's just something I wanted to cover. I just hope with the future of the Call of Duty franchise, they remember that lesson that they learned like a decade ago, and a perk like this never returns to the game. Perhaps I could see some utility in something like this for like DMZ or Warzone, for instance, but in regular 6v6 multiplayer, I don't think it should exist at all. Now, of course, those are just my thoughts and opinions on the Survivor perk in Modern Warfare 2, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about this perk in those comments down below. Do you think a perk like this has any place in regular Call of Duty multiplayer? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.